Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously.
Presenting 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe. It's time to put away your toys.
3DO from Panasonic, Gold Star, and Creative Labs. A new low price and free games.
Mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO.
3DO.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO Retrospective Podcast, where we talk about all things 3DO, the 3DO company, the console, and everything in between. I am Bill, and this is Threk. How you doing, Threk?
Bill, I am feeling easy, breezy, and beautiful, cover girl. How are you?
I'm tired. That's my life. It's cold.
I shouldn't even ask anymore because you're always just like, I'm tired. Everything sucks. Well, life fucking sucks. I'm like, it's probably fine.
Yeah, it is.
You're just being whiny, but that's okay.
Get up early, tired, drive to work. I had the greatest combo going into work today. I had a guy who was driving too slow in front of me and a guy who was super impatient behind me, and I was stuck in the middle. I was like, this is great.
Oh yeah, it's always the worst when I'm driving and I'm already going quite a bit over the speed limit as is, and then some dude whizzes by me because I'm too slow. I'm like, brother, if I'm going 85 and a 70 and that's too slow for you, I don't know what to tell you. Unless your wife's pregnant, you have no reason to be driving that fast.
Yeah. I was going 100 this morning, and I had people passing me. So, yeah,
that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
of course, you'd go fast, you crazy fuck.
I don't even notice half the time.
You racing fan, yeah. But
I looked down. I'm like, oh, I should probably slow down.
Oh yeah, I feel like probably one of the more entertaining aspects of being a cop. Not to get too deep into that, but I'm sure it's fun when you're on speed trap duty, seeing you can tell when people slam their brakes as soon as they see you.
Oh, and the entire armada of cars coming just suddenly slows down and everyone's grouped up all of a sudden.
Yep. I feel like that has to be entertaining.
Oh, it has to be. And then the second they're out of slightly ahead, they just all of a sudden speed up again. It's yeah.
Good stuff. But speaking of good stuff, we have our little news right before we get into our game for the week. This isn't really a news piece just because of the timing, but I was telling Bill, if some of you guys remember, late last year, there was this whole thing about Echo the Dolphin, right? Where Ed and Nunziata got a crew of some of the original devs and new devs to work on remasters of the original, potentially a new game. I've joined the Discord. I hop in here and there. And that timer that has been on the Echo website for a while is set to expire tomorrow, or probably today as you are listening to this. So I am very excited. I've been looking forward to this. I'm curious to see how the remasters of the original Echo games are going to look like, how they're going to be, and any plans for future stuff. So probably next week, if you don't bother to look, which is fair, I will let you all know what's going on with Echo because I'm very interested. So just figured I'd throw that out there. But for the rest of the news, the first thing is I guess SNK is getting into their collector's boutique phase again, because they are releasing a modern version of the classic AES console with what they call unrivaled authenticity. For those of you who don't know, the Neo Geo AES Advanced Entertainment System was the console they released in, I think it was 1990, where they had it was super expensive and they had the giant cartridges that were just arcade boards.
Yeah, it was literally the MVS but consoleized.
Yeah, you were getting the arcade experience at home directly because they were just selling you the boards for what was it, $200 back then or some crazy number?
It was expensive then and it's expensive now.
Yeah, so yeah, they're bringing it back with the AES Plus, It has like a low latency HDMI output, of course. It's got dip switches, all that good stuff. It's also they're also selling new versions of the carts, but they said if you have the old carts, they will work as well. Like they're basically just re-releasing the console, but like an upgraded version of it. The asking price is $250 American, which honestly, if you look at the console space right now, not the worst, but
It's not the worst. But then you look at the games and you go, "Oh no!"
I mean, some of those games are pretty good.
No, I'm not talking about the quality. I'm talking about you look at the price of the games. You go,
The games are going to be
"Oh."
about like, was it $70 a piece, something like that.
The new ones, sure, but if you're looking for retro stuff, ooh.
Yeah. So in a way, if you are a bit of a Neo Geo sicko, hi Aaron and Dre, then you might like this, because it allows like a more kind of friendly entry level into owning that hardware for real. Like it's kind of cool that they're doing this. Like a part of me kind of wants to buy the cart for Big Tournament Golf, or as it should be called, Neo Turf Masters. Fuck you, PGA. It's Neo Turf Masters. The best golf game of all time. Part of me wants to own the cart just to be a freak, and I might. If I do, I'll try to put it in my camera shot so you can see it. But I don't plan on buying the hardware because I'm not that big of an SNK guy. I've played a handful of their games. We've played a few of them on this show, and they're quality. But I don't go. But I'm not a freak for them like other companies that you guys may know about.
Yeah, the Neo Geo is always a fascinating one to me. Like I always said, like because I'm kind of out of the market for collecting consoles these days because they're too much, and I don't have the room for another.
It's the consoles that are usually the cheap part. It's the games that have gotten super expensive.
See, I've been like, if I was gonna collect for Neo Geo, I would want to get like a CD just because like at least the games are like affordable. Yeah, the load times are shit, but I'm not that impatient.
Yeah, if you're collecting retro games and you're going to complain about load times, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where like I've always found the Neo Geo CD interesting because they literally like addressed the price concerns by making the CD version, but then everyone complained about the load times, and I'm like, what are you gonna do?
Can't please everybody, right? So
no, it's super funny though because like so many fucking gatekeepers are now like coming out of the woodworks trying to like gatekeep this thing from like the casuals. I'm like, why? Like, geez, like,
why? What? There's gatekeepers for this thing?
Oh yeah. Well, there's retro gatekeepers for everything.
For
like
fucking
that.
What? Like this thing does not appeal to casual gamer. I guarantee you, like 90% of gamers haven't even heard this, don't even know what this is, and probably don't give a shit. Like the only people who are really going to buy this are the SNK freaks and collectors. You might get the odd rando here and there who buys it because they find it interesting, and so what? Let them.
It's a problem I've seen in the collecting space recently, like just in general. Like I've been to so many cons.
Is it because the prices are getting high and they're getting mad at everybody for buying the shit when it's like, I mean, you guys are the collectors. Like, I feel like you guys are the ones who are spending all the stupid money. And I mean, if you're going to get mad at anybody, get mad at all the fucking scummy resellers that are out there.
Oh, yeah. No, like
I feel like they're more of the problem.
I had at a con once. This like pissed me off so much, but I let it go. I was chatting with some like new collectors and they were asking for like tips and stuff. And I was like, I don't really like to give tips, but I was just explaining some stuff, telling them like what's worth collecting. And some like collector got all pissed off. He's like, you're giving away secrets. I'm like, you are a fucking loser. Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
secrets, eat my ass. Like,
stuff like that. I'm like, dude, no one gives a fuck. Like, it is a hobby. Don't ruin it for everybody. Like there's like legit people having fun. Like I hate like no fun police.
And also collecting tips. The only collecting tips I would give anybody is be like, just buy what you're interested in.
I mean, my usual collecting tip I give out is don't. So,
I mean, yeah, the easy thing I would say would be just learn how to emulate. But if you're not willing to do that, then yeah, I would just say like, find out what it is you just genuinely want and and try to get it without breaking the bank. Like it's really not that difficult. It's just like if somebody's like, "Oh, I just want to like collect," it's like, "Well, what are you interested in?" They're like, "Well, I grew up with the NES." It's like, "Yeah, go get an NES, go get a handful of games. You're fine. You'll be okay, buddy."
See, there's like the normal collectors who are like, I always tell them, like, don't fucking like listen to. Basically, I'm always like, don't take advice from collectors. Collect what you want, like right there.
Yeah, seriously, just get what you want. Like, I mean, if you want to be a weirdo like me and collect Game Gear games, have a ball. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm not like I wouldn't get mad if somebody like say saw all my Game Gear collection stuff and they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna collect Game Gear games like you or whatever." I wouldn't get mad. I'd just be like, "Cool."
That's how I feel whenever I go to cons now, because I'm always the guy going like, "Do you have 3DO games?" And they're like, "Nobody ever asked for 3DO games, so we don't bring them." I'm like, I'm that guy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So
I had one booth that literally, like, I went up and I was like, "So, got any 3DO games?" They're like, "Nah, we never bring them. We only had like one guy last year who was asking about them." I'm like, I wonder who that was.
you should have been like, "Can you describe them? What do you look like?" And
I'm
then they
just
start
like-
describing, and they're just like looking at you, and then they're like, "Oh."
I'm pretty sure my response was, "Yeah, that was probably me." And they're like, "Oh, sorry." I get it.
Maybe they'll learn for next year.
No, I get why they don't, because the boxes are fucking massive. They're hard to move around and they're hard
That
to
is true.
display. So I'm always, and when they get literally one psychopath who's looking for them, who generally doesn't buy all of them anyways because they're too expensive, it's not.
And you already own most of them that you wanted anyway.
Yeah, it's that's why I get it. But
Yeah,
it's
so.
the collecting scene is a dumpster fire lately, unfortunately.
Yeah. People are fucking weird and stupid about it. Like, I think the problem is so many people now collect games purely as like an investment or like a monetary value. You know, and I think that those are like the shitty people who are being crappy about it because they're just, it's like, dude, so you're only collecting these games because you think they'll be worth something in the future, not because you genuinely want to own them.
Oh, like the worst is when I used to buy like a sealed game and they'd always like, "Don't open that. You're gonna ruin the value." And I just look in their face and open it in front of them. I'm just like, "Fuck you," and just move on.
I'll say there's at least one, maybe two games I own sealed, but you know.
I mean, if I'm buying it sealed to have it sealed, that's one thing. But when I'm buying a game to play it and they're like, "Don't open it," I'm just like,
yeah. There are games I have bought sealed just because they were cheap to buy used and like still brand new. It's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Well, it's
like going back to Game Gear, there's a few CIBs I have that were sealed. And I opened them because I'm like, fuck you. I want to open this. You know, so
the only sealed game
I'm not planning on selling these in the future.
Yeah,
I'm planning on just owning them.
That's my
so I don't care.
Like the only sealed game I currently own is I have a sealed copy of Clax on 2600. And the only reason I haven't opened it is because there's like no reason to play that version. And if I really want to play it, I can just play it on the Atari Anthology.
You know, Bill, that might just be the most Bill item you own.
See, I bought a
copy of Clax for the Atari 2600.
What's funny is when I bought it, the description didn't say like sealed; it just said in box, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And it showed up sealed, and I was like, "Oh,
even better."
I don't plan on opening this, and I just like it's a display piece now.
Yeah, and then by extension, like the most thrack thing I own is a sealed copy of Dragon Quest XI, sealed for the Xbox One, because I already own it digitally. So I have no reason to open it. So yeah. And I own it for Switch as well. So anyways, that's a very good game. But yeah, that Neo Geo thing, it looks neat. I'm sure the couple hundred people who buy it will have a fucking blast with it. And they can have their fun. You
can find totally legal carts that have many games on them. So
I to be fair, if you want to play SNK games, they've all been like re-released on like everything.
Oh yeah,
like these games are not rare or hard to find. Like if you want to play Metal Slug, just whatever console you have, modern console or PC, type in Metal Slug on like Steam or whatever, you'll find it.
Oh yeah,
it ain't hard. So it's not like these games are like rare or impossible to find. That would be different. But you know,
yeah, I know. Like back in the day, like especially for like because there used to be people that would buy MVS cabinets and then they would just have them. There would be tons of these because a lot of those MVSs were like 4 board games, like you could put 4 different carts in.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, like there was like these totally legal multi-cart carts, which basically just had like 1,000 games per cart, and you just be like, stick that in there, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. So, like, if you only care about the game and not necessarily owning it, or owning the most legitimate way, brother, like, you have your other ways. So, anyways, so that new Metro game got unveiled, Metro 2039. We had that showcase Thursday last week, and it looks really, really fucking good. It was like we had a little trailer, a little bit of gameplay. The whole thing went for about 20 minutes, kind of in and out. And the development team talked about the struggles they've had since the invasion of Russia into the Ukraine, because that's where 4A is based, and how that war has been a big influence on them with making this game. Not remotely shocked. And they detailed like some of the story bits in the game and everything, and all we have as far as a release date is winter of this year. So I'm so glad it wasn't Shadow Drop, because I was worried about that. It is not coming into Game Pass like I predicted, but that's okay. I'll most likely buy it when it comes out anyway. So that just means I gotta play Exodus sometime this year to catch up before I play it. But it looks really good. I'm very excited. Bill, I know you're not really a Metro guy. You're not really a shooter guy either.
I like my shooters, but I'm not like a diehard shooter guy. I played a bit of the first Metro. It was fine. It's a series that I can appreciate, but I've never been a diehard fan of.
Yeah, it's very the series is worth playing from like a storytelling perspective, because it is a very uniquely told story. So it is worth your time.
That's what I saw with the first one. So
yeah, so good stuff. I'm very excited. So continuing in the worst kept secret in gaming right now, I'm glad they're leaning into this. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is getting its big reveal on Thursday, April the 23rd, where they're going to be doing like a big trailer and unveiling, the game officially, basically. But there have been leaks already. Like, people have leaked bits of the trailer and screenshots out there. I've looked at them all just because out of curiosity. The little bit I saw, it looks really good. Like, I'm very, like, they kept the same sort of feel of the original, but it definitely is upgraded graphically. But it's not trying to look like the most super modern game ever. Like, it looks like a game from maybe 5-6 years ago, so like it still looks good, like games back then now look just fine. So, but I'm very excited for it. It looks really cool. The leaked release date is July the 9th. So that's most likely what it is. And yeah, I'm hype as hell. I've been playing bits of Odyssey here and there, but I doubt I'll be done with it by July, because I'll probably jump into this instead. Because as I've said before, this is my favorite Assassin's Creed game, not necessarily for the assassin stuff, just because it's an amazing pirate sim.
Yeah.
So, and apparently it's not going to be one of the RPG titles. It's going to play more like how the original was, which is great, so that it won't be overly bloated with leveling and side quests and loot and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. A little too much bloat there, which is a shame, because those games are good regardless of that. So anyways, I'm excited for that.
Nice. Yeah, that's probably a good sign, because it's never good when you try to bloat up a game that wasn't designed with said bloat. So
yeah, and that's the issue people have had with the RPG Assassin's Creeds, regardless of if they like them or not. They're like, there's just too much here. They don't need to be this huge. So, but I guess the guy who like took over the Assassin's Creed franchise in Ubisoft, like the guy who's leading it now, was the creative director on Black Flag, like the original version. So it sounds like it's in good hands. So if you guys remember, Argonaut Games came back with the Croc remaster, right?
Sure did.
So on their social media, they've been having a little fun, let's just say. On 420, haha, they made a little tease about Buck Bumble, which to me is suggesting that they are working on a proper remaster of Buck Bumble. So I'll read the Blue Sky Skeet as it was. Right about now, Buck Bumble is officially your new wholesome 420 mascot, and we will not be taking further questions at this time. But stay tuned and be sure to follow us for forthcoming news and announcements. So yeah, it sounds like to me they're doing the thing, and then they had a little video, different kind of buzz, and they're playing the song. We all know the song at this point. So
I don't think most people know about the game.
exactly. And then also for National Haiku Day, they did a little tease of iNinja, which got me hype as fuck. So they may have read my email, because I did send them an email about iNinja. I never got a response back, but please, iNinja Remaster, just for me, nobody else. That's the one I'm excited for.
I'm really curious if they do re-release Buck Bumble, if people actually buy it.
Oh yeah, they will. They will, just for the memes.
It's such a meme. Like all the people that meme it have never played it, and like most people don't even realize it's a fucking rail shooter.
It's not really a rail shooter.
Well, it's a 3D shoot 'em up ish kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like Army Men Air Attack.
Yeah, it's kind of.
But you're a beast.
I shouldn't say rail shooter. It's more of like the all range mode from Star Fox 64.
Yeah. Because our buddy Jake from Press B did a video on his YouTube where he like kind of mumbled his way through playing it, and which was really entertaining for me. So yeah,
it is.
I will not be buying the Buck Bumble remaster. I didn't buy the Croc one because I don't like Croc either. But when they do the iNinja one, I hope they actually do. I will be there for that one. So
I have the original cartridge, so I'm good.
Yeah. So, anyways, so y'all remember Splatoon Raiders? You probably don't. Well, Nintendo dropped a actual proper ass fucking trailer for the thing today, randomly out of the blue. Nintendo being Nintendo, right? And they said here, quote, in Splatoon Raiders, players take on the role of a mechanic embracing on a high-stakes adventure across the mysterious Spiralite, I don't know how to pronounce that, islands. Players will meet returning characters Fry, Shiver, and Big Man, a trio of swashbuckling musicians who make up the splat-tacular band Deep Cut. And they're emphasizing that it's like a single-player game. Like they even say that in the trailer, like a single player adventure type thing. I think it will have multiplayer. They did mention it is going to have that as well. So, but I mean, the trailer looks a little interesting. I'm curious to what a single player focused Splatoon game could be, because I remember when Splatoon 3 was coming out, people were really hoping they would put more of an emphasis on the single player stuff, because I think the Octo expansion in 2 had that, and people really liked that. So I think people were hoping for a more story-focused 3, which I don't think happened. Like, not in the way that people wanted. So it looks like Raiders is going to be like their attempt at doing that. So, and I guess it's only going to be like $60 or $50. So I'll probably give it a shot. It comes out July 23rd.
Okay.
So they even dated the thing. So yeah, it might be a like a wait for reviews kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am with most games these days.
Fair enough. Yeah, people are talking about the Gothic 1 remake, and it's like, that's probably a game I should wait to see if is worth my time.
Yeah, like the only like game I've kind of like been peer pressured into recently is like Pokopia.
How is it?
I spent like literally 5 hours watering grass. It didn't accomplish anything because it's one of those games.
But did you love it?
I'm having fun with it. It's fun. It's just, it's one of those games where I'm like, I need like time to play this. I just don't have time.
Yeah. So fair enough. But yeah, we'll check in on Raiders in a couple months. Our last 2 bit of news comes from Xbox again. I know. But this one's big. Xbox is cutting the price of Game Pass. So it was about a week and a half ago. The new CEO, Asha Sharma, had said that, like, Game Pass, is too expensive, and they're looking at ways to potentially lower the price in the future. And of course, people threw in all of their, talking points or ideas that they had about it, right? And I didn't think this drop would happen this soon, to be honest. But basically, like Game Pass Ultimate is normally, $30 a month, but it is now going down to $23 a month. So a $7 decrease, which, isn't a huge amount, but, you save, if I did the math correctly, you save over $84 on it, which, not terrible.
Yeah.
But the big thing with it is that future Call of Duty games will no longer be available day one. So the Call of Duty games that are already on there are going to stay. And then say the next Call of Duty, the Call of Duty for this year, which I believe is going to be Modern Warfare 4, will not be day one in Game Pass. It'll appear on Game Pass the next year. So Game Pass users will be a year behind on Call of Duty. And if that's really the only caveat to lowering the price, I think people are genuinely fine with that. At least that's what I've been seeing. People are like, it's good, especially in a time where we're seeing prices raise on every fucking thing. To see a company actually go, you know what, we'll drop the price on this. I'm fine with it. Sounds good to me. I mean, I've been doing my best to avoid paying $30 a month for Game Pass in general, like finding old, like preloaded cards to use and that kind of stuff. So, but for 23, yeah, I'll probably go back to the reoccurring monthly. Sure.
My theory on this is they must have seen the significant drop in Game Pass subscribers.
Oh yeah. And also, with the new regime change, I think they're more willing to like actually objectively look at everything and see what's worth doing. And also there was quite a while ago, reports were that Microsoft was trying to put like a 30% like profit or whatever, like incentive on Xbox, which is crazy because like not even Nintendo or Sony make 30% back or whatever. Like,
which is crazy too, because Xbox has rarely ever made a profit for Microsoft.
It's been doing better.
It's been better, but it's still like it's not really their focus.
No, it has become a bigger chunk of their business over time, and I think them getting rid of that 30% is allowing them to do things like cutting dropping the price on this stuff and all that, because they're like, this is unrealistic. Like even the biggest gaming companies don't make that kind of profit, so why the hell should we, right? Which is fair. So hopefully this leads to other good things. We'll see. So
hopefully. I mean,
and they probably also saw that like putting Call of Duty on Game Pass didn't drive up subscriptions like they were hoping. So
Call of Duty players will buy the games regardless.
Well, yes, but they saw that probably Black Ops 6 and 7 got a lot of people in because they were day one on Game Pass, but I'm sure the lost revenue that they saw wasn't necessarily people who would have bought it for $70 at launch anyways. Like when I played Black Ops 6 on Game Pass, like it wasn't because I was like, oh, I'm saving the $70. It was like, oh, it's there, I'll play it. Because that was before I had done my crazy Call of Duty bullshit. So yeah, I'll probably be paying full price for Modern Warfare 4 when it comes out for the pod. So I'll deal with it. But I'm fine with it going down in price. But they didn't change anything else. That was the only one thing. Though there are some things some people have thrown out the idea of like you could pick and choose which like perks you want to have. Like say it's like you want to get rid of Fortnite Festival and save another $5 or something. Like we could do that because that'd be nice. I don't give a shit about the Fortnite stuff. Yeah. If I could take that off and save a couple bucks, I would. But that might be a little too much because of like contracts and everything. Who knows? But still, I saw that and I was like, oh, nice. Not Microsoft not shooting themselves in the foot for once, trying to do something a little better. So we'll see. And then the last thing is on the 23rd, we're getting our next ID at Xbox show, which is like Xbox's like indie direct, basically. So the games that they highlighted they're going to feature are Mistfall Hunter, There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, Aphelion, Solo Leveling, Arise Overdrive, and then, of course, a bunch of other stuff. Aphelion and Ghosts at the Grand, I know, are two Game Pass games. Like, Aphelion is coming out fairly soon, and that game actually looks interesting. I might give it a download on Game Pass. And No Ghosts at the Grand is like that weird like puzzle indie thing that they showed at the June showcase last year. So, you know, hopefully here we'll get like a proper release date for it, because I'm very interested in that game. I remember it. So, and that is the news.
Yeah, a lot of shit happened.
Yeah. Do we get any new Nintendo music, Bill?
Technically, but not really.
More tracks for Kirby?
No, not this time. We you know how they do occasionally those special releases where they're not like in the library, but you can access the music to certain games.
Yeah.
They did a special release for Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream. So if you're like Alex or Aaron and you've given up your soul to that game, good for you. I guess.
Yeah. I did enjoy all of the Tamagotchi Life memes back in like the 3DS days.
Oh, and
seeing what people did. Those were good. I had a good time watching those. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch more from this new one.
Oh, Alex is already sending me all her creations, which is hilarious.
Alex, send me that shit. Come on, don't be a coward. Send me that shit.
You probably wouldn't be as entertaining. She's actually doing like quality stuff. She's not making garbage like a lot of people. I
still want to see it, damn it. I don't care.
I did see a great one where someone made a penis and it married a butthole, so that was great. That's why you can't share anything in this game. Because
Nintendo just let this one go. People are going to do it regardless. Just let it happen, okay?
Yeah.
But they never will. Anyways, good stuff.
I'm glad they're all having fun. It doesn't look like a game I'd be into playing, because I'd probably play it for like a day and then get bored and move on. But.
Yeah. It's just my brain doesn't have that ability to do that funky shit that people do in those games. It's kind of the same with Minecraft. Like my brain just doesn't work in that way. You know, I'd rather play like a Pragmata or a Mouse PI for Hire, where it's like, go do we've built the game for you. Go do the thing. You know, like that's better for me.
Minecraft is a game that I really enjoy, and I always think I'm creative, but then I watch like Lucy play it, and I'm like, I'm not creative at all.
Not all of us have interior design degrees, so
I just watch what she does, and I'm like, Jesus, like I'm not.
Oh yeah. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I would get sick of it after like 10 minutes. So
yeah. No music. Well, we are talking about music, but no Nintendo music.
Indeed we are. Today we are talking about, I wouldn't necessarily call this a game.
It's a experience.
Yeah. It's a piece of software. Now, I think we had mentioned before that the 3DO is one of those consoles that, well, it has games. It also has a bunch of like software that you wouldn't really necessarily call games. And this is I think the first one that we're properly covering, called C.P.U. Bach, or Sid Meier's C.P.U. Bach. Yes, that's Sid Meier.
Yep.
It's described as an interactive music generating program designed by Sid Meier and also Jeff Briggs, who I believe founded Fire Access with Sid Meier after he left Microprose. That's a whole thing.
And he was the primary composer of the original Civilization.
Yes.
And
I've never played Civ 1. I've only played Civs 5 and 6 and Revolution.
I've only played Civ 4, and he also composed Civ 4, but that was also the last one he composed, apparently.
Yeah. So, but this game is not Civ. It is. No. So basically, this game is designed to just like generate Baroque music, and in the style of Bach, but not that Bach. The one you're probably thinking, Johann Sebastian Bach, which, you know, is an influence. You hear toccata and fugue in here. But the name C.P.U. Bach is kind of a play on a guy named Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, C.P.E. Bach, who was also a German composer around the time, was actually a child of Johann Sebastian Bach as well. Mm-hmm. So just kind of playing upon that. And, you know, it's an interesting little piece of software. It's not like Mario Paint, where you can make music. Like
No,
you can
it's
kind of like you can set parameters.
it's not so much you're making music; it's more the 3DO is generating music, like with
Yes.
a very rudimentary early AI, kind of in a way.
Yeah, where it has all of the various types of Baroque music you can have, like dance and fugues and things like that. You can set like the instrument or instruments or whatever, and you kind of set it up, and then the game will just generate it for you, and then you can just listen to it basically. You get like that weird kaleidoscopy thing that if you ever listen to music on like Windows XP or something in like the media player, it's kind of like an older version of that. But you can also have like them just like moving a camera over like crude JPEGs
And icebergs and stuff.
and icebergs. Yeah, you can. The one I like is where you can have like the analysis, where it details to you like what a choral is, and like why like why this music piece is set up the way that it is, giving you a little bit of history and a little bit of music theory and all that, which is honestly really cool. Like it has like an educational quality to it, but in a way, it doesn't feel like it's trying to also like be a game either. It's just kind of like an entertaining little thing for you to do. Like this very much feels like a little Sid Meier pet project. Like while he was in between Civ games. In fact, the year this came out was 94, which I believe is the same year as Sid Meier's Colonialization, which I've never played. And then the year after was Civ Nets, which was a remake of the original Civ, but with like online multiplayer. But Civ 2 would be like 2 years out. So this is basically him being like, yeah, let me just, I guess he had a thing for Baroque music and decided to.
I think it was a combination of him and Jeff Briggs in particular.
Yeah, where they just had this little idea in their head and just were like, we'll make it's weird. This is 3DO only.
It is.
There's no PC version at all. Yeah. Something like this you feel like would make sense on PC, right?
It's also one of the weirdest 3DO covers, like box arts, because it's just white. Has the name and then just some text at the bottom that just says your 3DO can compose original music.
It looks like the front page of like a music book.
Yeah, that's kind of like
you would
the vibe I was getting.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Like it's striking in a weird way, in like a simplistic way that kind of works.
Yeah. It reminds me of like some of the Final Fantasy covers where they just have the logo on the plain white background.
Oh, the Japanese ones that were really nice.
Yeah.
Before America was like, slap everything on it.
Yeah, I much prefer the Japanese style for Final Fantasy where they just kind of let the logo do all the work.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is more. But I don't think it's necessarily a play on that. But
No, it's just
but it's an interesting little thing. Its controls are kind of funky, like how you're able to move from things. Like it's not very intuitive in how the controls are set up.
It's a game that
spend a couple
really
minutes being like, how do I get from one thing to another? Like, but once you get it figured out and just kind of let it go in the background while you're like doing other stuff or whatever, like it's kind of neat. I mean, my only one critique I have, being a bit of a music guy, I did take college courses in music. I'm sorry. Is one of the intro pieces that they're playing, like they have the dude sitting at the harpsichord, because that was the main keyboard instrument before the piano was invented in the early mid 1700s. Before that, it was the harpsichord, which is like it's smaller. It has like the two sets of keyboard of like the keyboards, and would have like the inverted colors, and it has that kind of more attack kind of a hit. It's hard to describe the sound. It's more like staccato, but you know a harpsichord if you hear it.
Oh, yeah.
But what he's playing, it clearly sounds to me like a MIDI piano. And I'm like, guys, the piano technically wasn't a fucking thing yet. There are some late era Baroque pieces that are on piano, but there's not that many. It was usually like the harpsichord or like, the big pipe organs. That was the main stuff that Baroque music was composed for back in the day.
Yeah, that's like the one thing about this game that might be a turnoff if for anyone who's like interested in this, is the midis are a little rough, but for the time,
Yeah.
that's what they were. If you're not like super picky, they're fine. Like,
I think for like 1994, they did the best with what they had. You know, for the 3DO and 94. Like I imagine maybe on the PC it would have worked out a little better, but I'm also thinking if they had made this for the personal computer, they probably would have wanted like a specific sound chip in order to replicate the sounds, and not every PC probably would have had access to that. Whereas on the 3DO, they're like, oh, you know, we can have the set and everything will be fine. So maybe that's why. I'm not quite sure, but you know,
it's kind of crazy because like the way the game works is essentially just generating like Bach style compositions, like using its weird algorithm, and then just kind of like you can like kind of just slightly influence them by like your little choices, and it will create a piece, like a music piece, and then that music piece just kind of exists. And if you don't save it, once you turn the game off, it's just gone forever.
oh yeah. There's no way to like save any compositions or store any where you're like, oh, I like that one, you should keep that kind of a thing. You know, it doesn't have that, which is a shame. I think it would have benefited from that, but probably they just didn't have the appropriate storage for something like that, you know, because the 3DO already has limited storage as is. So I imagine trying to store like music files on this thing probably just wouldn't have worked out, when notoriously music files are always pretty large, even back in like, you know, the cartridge days. You know, like David Wise has talked about when he was composing for Donkey Kong Country, how he had very little space to work with. So the fact he was able to create what he did on such small space is, you know, testament to his brilliance. So I could imagine it would be just as difficult even on here.
Yeah, just think like Nobuo Uematsu, how he got Chrono Trigger 6 and 4 on those cartridges.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it's a little like, if you have an interest in Baroque music, you know, it's an interesting little like tertiary kind of thing to Baroque music, to see that like Sid Meier and Jeff Bridges had enough of an interest in the genre to do something with it, to kind of make it in this little thing. You know, it's pretty cool, and a lot of like words and styles that came from Baroque music are still used in music today. You know, things like overtures and minuets, and you know, like preludes, you know, that kind of stuff. Like certain things in the Baroque music tradition became kind of common vernacular, even in like today's, you know, modern popular music type stuff. So,
oh yeah, what's crazy too is you can actually find the patent on like Google Patents for the system they created for the real-time music composition. And
oh really?
It is dense and very, very dry, but holy shit, like there is a lot here. And
was it ever used after this?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure this is like just this weird anomaly that they just created for the 3DO, and it lived and died on the 3DO.
Is Sid Meier and Jeff like attached to like this patent?
I don't think so anymore. It's because it's probably been public domain at this point.
Okay.
Because you can read.
Right here, the inventor, Sidney K. Meier and Jeffrey L. Briggs. Sid is short for Sydney.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
it's so funny. Like Microprose technically developed this,
and the patent, the date on it is March 5th, 1996. A whole 2 years after this came out. So it says to me there's probably a possibility they use this beyond C.P.U. Bach. Like it might even be in Civ 2.
Oh yeah.
So
what's crazy is like you look at the little like schematics for how like the system works, and it's like I look like you're just staring at hieroglyphics. Like what is going on here? I'm sure this is like super interesting stuff if like you're into like the technical side of things, but like my brain just is like the buffering symbol trying to look at that.
I feel like if I stared at it long enough, I would kind of understand it. Because my guess is like the layman's terms of it was kind of how I was describing it. Whereas like the user would implement certain parameters, like certain data that they'd want entered in. That data would then get read by the device, with its like set up parameters, things that it needs, that it's been told to like, that's like reminiscent of that, and then does the mixing up and then churns it out.
It's
Kind of
interesting
like, I hate to use the comparison because AI is gross, but it's kind of like how you can train certain AI models in certain things. So when you ask it questions, relating to that or implement data, it'll churn out data because it like knows stuff about that in order to give you a detailed answer, if that makes any sense. But in a hopefully not gross way. But there's no guarantee of that with AI.
It's interesting looking at the way this thing was designed, because like it looks like it was actually specifically like they put in like safeguards essentially to keep the compositions within the parameters of the style of music they were going for. Like there is like rules and like specific things that it has to follow, which is fascinating, which makes me wonder if they could have like re-engineered this for different styles of music.
Oh, probably. And there's probably a chance that they, again, did, because looking at it, I can't imagine they would have this complex of a patent for something and then only use it for one little thing. I can't imagine.
That's the weird thing about this game, is the fact that they made this complicated of a program and it just kind of exists on a system that not many people know about.
Again, I bet you if you asked Sid Meier about it, they'd probably tell you like, oh yeah, we used it in other shit. Yeah. I can't imagine they wouldn't have,
Yeah. It would be weird. Like all that work just for this.
Yeah. Something that, as far as we know, didn't sell well at all. There's no reviews of it on the Wikipedia.
No, or Moby Games for that matter.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying our best to review it, and it's like, I just really don't know what to say. I mean, it's not bad at all. Like,
no, it's actually incredibly fascinating.
Yeah, like you can tell it's a passion project, and it's something that they genuinely just wanted, like a labor of love. They just wanted to make it, and I have all the respect in the world for it for being that. Like it's not a game, so I can't really judge it based on that. But yet, comparing it to the 3DO library that we've played, it does clear like a good chunk of those just by being itself, It's
not even like a tool. It's like, it is just straight up like an experience.
It's a program.
Yeah, it's like basically, yeah.
I could imagine potentially a scenario where, say, like a college professor of music back in the 90s used this game to sort of detail, like, the section in music history where they talk about Baroque music, right? Like I could see some weird esoteric professor wanting to use this to sort of like teach it in a way that like, oh, the kids might understand it's a video game, like they clearly don't know, but you know what I mean? Like they probably could have, if they had made this like a PC, like a piece of PC software, they probably could have sold it to universities to sort of use it in like, education about Baroque music. But also if, they sold it in the PC market, as you had said, people, fucking with the formula in PC world, they probably would have, and started just doing whatever with it, which could have been cool, but we'll never know.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. One thing I kind of was thinking about, because like whenever you see people bringing up 3DO stuff, like you'll always get the people bringing up like the well-known games, but they'll talk about the infamous ones. This game rarely comes up, and I'm actually, if ever, and it's interesting to me just because of the fact that like this game is so technically good at what it does that it's kind of one of those things that they don't really ever bring up because there's no reason to.
Yeah. And also by extension, when people talk about Sid Meier, who's one of the all-time legends in video games, right? Like how many dudes in video games like put their name on games in a way that just like it just like you don't think of Sid Meier as like a person. You think of it as like a franchise, Sid Meier's Civilization, Sid Meier's Pirates, Sid Meier's C.P.U. Bach, Sid Meier's Panty Raid or whatever the fuck, right? Like it's just like an IP idea,
Yeah,
you know, where you don't think about the guy, but like, no, he's a guy. He exists. He's still around, still making games. You know, Civ 7 came out, what was it, like last year?
yeah. He's kind of like up in that same like status as like Tom Clancy, even though Tom Clancy had nothing to do with the games that much.
Well, yeah. Tom Clancy was an author, not a game designer, and had barely any input on like I think because like Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six were books he wrote, but that was kind of it, you know. Because like Splinter Cell, he had nothing to do with.
No.
You know, and then like Warhawk and the Division and all this other crazy stuff, he had nothing to do with that. So.
No, Sid Meier definitely
and also
has,
Tom Clancy, piece of shit.
Yeah.
And fun fact, he tried in the mid to late 90s, he tried to buy the Minnesota Vikings. It's a whole story I won't get into here, but it was a whole because the Vikings had a really horrible ownership situation. There was like 10 different people owned the team, and the league was like, you need that, like, you know, consolidate your ownership or we're going to force you to do it. Do it yourselves or we'll make you do it. And so they were looking for a buyer. Tom Clancy appears out of the blue, tries to buy the team, but he's like, but he kind of lied about how much money he had because he was in a divorce with his wife. Messy, right? You know,
Yeah.
Shocker, a right-wing guy is a messy piece of shit. Anyways, that deal falls through, and then another millionaire or another billionaire buys the team, and then he owns it for a few. I won't get too deep into sports stuff, but yeah, Tom Clancy, interesting character.
Yeah,
I've tried reading his books. Terrible, not for me. They're a little too much like reading a technical guide.
Yeah,
you know, they're not very like storytelling. You know, they feel more like matter of fact and like tactics and shit. And it's like, unless you care, they're not worth your time.
Yeah,
those books are like audio listeners. The books are like fucking. They're about as thick as your phone sideways. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I know him mostly for he's basically a mascot at this point. So
I mean, he's been dead for several years now. So
and Sid Meier actually was a designer, like actually.
Yeah,
things, so.
Yeah. Well, apparently, fun fact: his first game was called Bank Game 1. He was paid to make a game for a bank with a piggy bank catching falling coins. So that's how he got started in video games in the early 80s, making like little like software games for banks, and then made copies of Space Invaders and Pac-Man, and you know. If you haven't read about Sid Meier's career, you should read it. It's an interesting history.
Does he still work on like the current games, or is he more? Just
No, he's still there because he was with Microprose, and then in the late 90s there was a big shakeup when they became public. And so Sid Meier and then Jeff Briggs and all them fucked off and formed Firaxis, which is what exists today. And he took Civilization with him. And so, and he's been making the games ever since. So like Civ 7, when it came out, like I doubt he's in the trenches doing the fucking coding and programming, but from what I've gathered, he is still like involved in everything, you know, still, you know, make sure like almost like a Miyamoto type figure, but like Miyamoto in like the GameCube era, where he wasn't like directly making the games anymore, but oversaw everything and be sure everything was good and up to snuff.
Before he started making those terrible decisions all the time.
Exactly, kind of a thing. Exactly. So
yeah, because I looked up.
Just wait for the Civilization movie. No, thank you.
To be fair, that would probably be better than any of Miyamoto's decisions, but
damn.
I mean, his recent ones, anyways. I'm still not over what he did to Paper Mario, but that's besides the point.
You're still butthurt.
Well, that and like Star Fox Zero, like his one decision ruined that game for a lot of people.
Yeah. So
the man's a genius, but he also needs to step back sometimes.
The game passes people by.
Yeah.
Even the great ones, but yeah.
So must play. Okay, stay away for this one. I don't want to say stay away because it's fine, but it's also like you don't really play it.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I like
it's
it.
perfect.
It's neat. I like it.
It's perfectly fine. Like there's nothing bad about it. It's like extremely competently made. Like it has some jank for 94, but most things were jank for 94.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
not even a detriment to the game itself. That's just technology wasn't there at the time.
Yeah. So, and you can tell that like Civ 1 was such a big hit for Sid Meier, and it was a huge hit,
Oh, yeah.
that he used that success to just sort of try all different kinds of things, like if you want to go down the Sid Meier rabbit hole, there's Sid Meier's Gettysburg, there's Sid Meier's Sim Golf, there's the various versions of Pirates, Railroads, Ace Patrol, Starships. Hell, their company made Marvel's Midnight Suns, if you remember that game. So, so I feel like the in between Civ 1 and Civ 2, he just was throwing all kinds of weird ideas out there, just seeing if anything else would stick. And then he went back to Civ, and Civ 2 was an even bigger hit. And he's like, well, that's what I'm doing. And that became sort of the tentpole release for him and the companies that he worked with.
Apparently, he also worked on the Magic the Gathering game. That's interesting.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, yeah. And I think it was a couple years ago he made it was called Alpha Centauri, which is sort of like Civ in space. Which is funny to say because Civ, if you play it long enough, you actually do go to space. Like if you play Civ like a game of Sim for long enough, you can develop like space travel and go up to the fucking moon. So
it reminds me of like Spore, if anyone remembers Spore.
Oh, I never forget Spore.
I played the shit out of Spore back in the day.
Yeah. I think the most recent one I'm thinking is Beyond Earth, I believe is the one I'm thinking of. That was like more recent. So,
yeah,
cool stuff. Sid Meier's an interesting guy.
Yeah, no, he's definitely like one of those like video game rabbit holes where like you learn the more you learn, the more you're like, wow. Like,
yeah, and you may fall into the hole of being like, let me play a Civ game, and then you're like, oh shit, 8 hours have passed. What the hell?
Yeah, that's why I played Civ 4 and I didn't play any others because I was like, this is great, but I don't have enough life for this.
One of these days, I want to play like all the Civs, like go back to Civ 1 and give it a try. See how it plays by, with a more modern perspective, and then just kind of go through all of them. Because I played a bit of Civ 5. I liked Civ 5. Civ 6 I thought was really good. Civ Revolution on like 360 is probably my favorite. I like that game, the way they like simplify Civ for like a console player is really well done. It has a little bit of a barrier to entry, but once you just kind of let the process go, you're like, oh, okay, like what helps Civ work as well as it does is that it's turn-based.
Yes.
Because real-time strategy for me is like a toss of the dice if I'm going to like it or not, right? But with Civ or with any like turn-based stuff, it's like, oh, I can take my time and try to plan what I'm doing, and it allows you to kind of play the game at whatever pace you like. So it makes it easier for you to get into it.
Civ is a series that I always kind of like paralleled with like Sim City, even though they're completely different kinds of games. Just because they both are like from that era, but they both also have like very fascinating histories.
Yes.
Over the years.
Yes.
Like going back to like
and the Sims games are done by Will Wright, I believe.
Yep, and Maxis.
Yeah. So shout out to Will Wright.
At least 1 through. Interesting guy as well.
Oh, yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. Sid Meier's Canadian. Will Wright is from Georgia, but his Wikipedia page, he looks like he's British.
Yeah, and his
it's that haircut.
Yeah, and interviews with him are just fascinating because like his ideas were interesting for the time.
I mean, to be fair, you need those weird kind of guys to make these kind of games. Like what other guy would come up with fucking Sim Ant? than Will Wright, right? Or like the concept of Civilization. Like imagine pitching that concept in 1991 and like people going like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like
Well, it's
what?
like the original Sims was originally pitched as a game called Dollhouse because that was basically what the idea was. You were just playing with a virtual dollhouse, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like conceptually it sounds really stupid.
And
But
then it comes out and it
then you
becomes
play it and then it's like, oh, I get it.
the best-selling PC game at the time.
Yeah. So
It's just interesting. But CPU
how
Bach,
how it goes, yeah. But
it's very okay.
yeah, and it caused you to go down an interesting rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's
Now I want to play some Civ. Fuck.
yeah. I kind of want to play SimCity. I could try
SimCity I couldn't get into. Like the SNES SimCity has that charming quality to it, but you get to like 2000 and 3000 and I'm just like my brain no.
and then you
My
try to
brain-
play
like,
4 and
no.
it still makes your computer want to die because that game was ridiculous for the time.
Yeah, even like stuff like City Skylines or whatever, I'm just like my brain does not have it for those kind of games. I'm not wired for that, so
Yeah.
it is what it is. Keep it to an amusement park and I'm happy.
Yeah, I know, right? Sim theme park. Well, actually, no, that was not Sims. That was theme park, the Bullfrog game. Either way, yes, I'm tired.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yeah. That pretty much wraps this one up, though. Should probably end it. My brain is not working right now.
Are you are you okay, Bill?
No, but that I will be. It's fine. Once again, guys, thank you for joining us on the 3DO Experience. You can find the 3DO Experience all the podcasting platforms. Check us out on the Superpod Network. Awesome site. Lots of great podcasters, videos, blogs, all sorts of fun stuff over there. Our good friend Tommy Favre started another podcast.
Yes. Retired podcaster Tommy Judge Brett has decided to start another goddamn podcast.
The Brett Favre of podcasting. My God.
Well, he's a Vikings fan like me, so it makes sense. This is his Vikings.
Yeah, his Vikings era.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Then Tommy and Grant is his New York Jets. I'm so sorry, Grant. That's bad.
Tommy should just like start a podcast with Aaron and call it Superpod Saga.
Bring it back.
Just go full circle at this point.
Do like the soft reboot. Yeah.
That would be funny. But yeah, check out all those awesome shows over there. You said Thrack Ops is in the works?
Yes, I'm in the middle of recording the Advanced Warfare episode. I'm hoping to have it out by the end of the week, Sunday, Monday next week at the latest. So just stay tuned for that.
Nice. And I don't usually shill my own shows, but the most recent episode of Geek Addicts just came out. Me and Matt, we talked about the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, and it was chaotic. So check that out too if you want. But yeah, anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all later.
Bye-bye.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system, what are you playing with?